Hi, I'm Natalie Kolbeck, and I'm here for Creative Jumpstart with Sandra Evertson. Hope I say her name right this time.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked that I have her back for Creative Jumpstart 2019. She is just an amazing artist. If you don't know, you have to follow her and listen to her and see for yourself. Her video for Creative Jumpstart for 2019 last year was awesome. This year, guys, I went up, I bought something, I did it, I'm so excited, I can't wait to share with you. But before we talk a little bit more, let me have Sandra introduce herself. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Natalie. Thanks for having me back again this year. After last year, I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that you had me back. I want to introduce a couple people and see if I can get her over here. You want to come here? You come here? You come here? Where's her? She's shy. She's a little bit shy, but as soon as she gets over here, she'll be good.
So some of you saw her last year. There's this brand new member of the family.
Yeah, she's only a year and a half old, and her and Wolfie are getting used to each other. Oh, no, okay. That's okay, you can leave it. You can leave it. I think it's funny because that's how she is.
That is funny.
Thing.
So as you can see, who's this?
Wolfgang.
Hi, Wolfgang.
See?
Hi.
Wolfie. Wolfgang. After Amadeus.
Oh.
My husband's a musician, so that's how
you have another dog, right?
Yeah, we have a German Shepherd, a big German Shepherd, an older guy, and that we rescued. And then we have a little tiny Chihuahua that's about half his size, Juliet. And she's older, too. She's about 12 years old. Yeah, 12, going on 13. But she's not real friendly with people. Wolfie is. He loves meeting people. I take him shopping, and people stop and talk to him and just love meeting him. He's such a friendly little boy, but Juliet's not so much.
Yeah, so I find that really cool that you show them because, especially for people who have pets. If you don't, I'm sorry for you guys. No,
I know, me too. Exactly. I wouldn't even want to be here without any animals.
Right. There's
such them, and it's a way of life for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a big part of home, right? Which is actually our theme for Creative Jumpstart this year. And so I think it's awesome to see the family members that make your home.
Up my home.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does the home mean for you, besides, I guess, the animals?
For me, well, it's a really important thing for me because I feel like I have not really ever had one until now, really. And, in the years when I was working and modeling, I traveled so much and I was never home and I was just gone all the time and I lived in a suitcase and, there was never any place just like permanent. I had an apartment that I kind of would visit here and there and that was it. And to me, home means permanence. It's a permanent place that is always there and always will be there and you can come back to it and you can go away from it, but it'll always be there. So permanence is the thing for me about home.
Right. Do you, is it, so it is kind of like the location, but it's not tied to the location. It's more like how long you are there.
Yeah, it's just a place that's, that's your environment that has the people you love in it and the animals that you love but that's always there. It is, I guess, kind of a home that's always there that you can come back to all the time. Some people never have that, I think. I didn't have it for years and years and years, living in apartments and, apartments never felt like a home to me.
Yeah. What's the first thing, and I don't mean like putting down your suitcase or whatever. What's the first thing that you do when you travel, because I know you still travel too, when you come home that makes you feel really at home?
I grab them. That's literally the first thing. David brings them with him to pick me up at the airport. And if they're with him, I'm in a really, really good mood to see them. And because I talk to them on the phone when I'm, like at CHA or whatever, I'm talking, David, let me talk to them. And I talk to them on the phone and it's just them, having them close to me and around me. And they're my they're just my little children, I guess.
Well, I can totally see that. We have two cats, and they are a very big part of our family life,
Yeah,
definitely. Which
right.
only people understand who have pets, but so we're the guys.
Yeah.
So, Sandra, tell us a little bit about yourself and your artwork besides those cute little critters here.
Well, I've always done art. I've always worked on something. As a little kid, it was just something all the time. You remember, well, I don't know if they still come like that, but apples used to come in these little paper things that looked like that. And they were funny paper. It was mashed up paper, kind of like an egg box, like an egg carton. And I would take them from the market, and I would make things out of that because it was really cool paper, and you could cut it out and make like an orange face and like Christmas ornaments and real simple kid things, but I've always been making something. And when I was traveling a lot, I would pick up things instead of going out, I would go to flea markets and stuff and pick up things, and just small things, because it was just like stuff I could get in my suitcase and bring home with me. And so that kind of, the collecting thing and the making thing all kind of fell together when I started with the relics and artifacts. I had these beautiful pieces, and I didn't want to ruin the original by doing something to it and then messing it up, because I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. I work from like a way that is just kind of experimenting all the time, because I'm not like trained in anything. I didn't go to school for art or anything. I just like, I like to make stuff, and I have to make stuff.
Right.
And so it's just kind of, I didn't want to mess those pieces up. So I started, making my own pieces that I could do things to. And then it was like, wow, this was really a good time. And so then I kind of just took off from there.
Did you do a lot of arts and crafts when you were a kid too? Like,
all the time. Mm-hmm.
Was that something that you did with your, I don't know, siblings or your family, or you just?
No, really, I did it by myself because I was the oldest sister. I'm the oldest sister, and I have two younger siblings, and they're much younger, so they were kind of together, and I was kind of by myself.
Yeah.
And so I would just like I've always been really kind of introverted. I think that's the word.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of would hang, by myself a lot and make things.
Do you do
out
a
of
lot
whatever I had?
I know you do a lot of like really. I mean, I love your work, and there's so many facets to it, from like jewelry to decoration to assemblage to there's so much. And I think I know the answer, but I will still ask you, is there a lot of art that you make for your home that's like decorative? Is that a big part of how you decorate your home?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like the circle behind me is just one, I needed something to fill up this space that felt like something. And so I made that. And like, yeah, a lot of pieces I'll make out of, the stuff I have, but I want it. It's something that like museum pieces I'll see, or, and you can't get those things.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll reproduce it. I'll make it myself. And like the skull covered with rhinestones and those kinds of things, or with turquoise eyes. And, I can afford to buy the little bits of material that I need. eBay's such a great source.
Yeah.
And, I'll buy the little bits of good materials and then make the piece so that it's, as close to looking as it can to an antique piece, and that's what I decorate my house with. Lately I've really been into like kind of really primitive stuff, so I've been collecting rocks, and I paint on them like scenes, kind of like Aboriginal scenes, and like Native American pottery, and stuff like that. Like fragments, because they're really expensive if you buy a real one.
Yeah.
And so I just like I'll find these rocks outside that look like maybe a piece of ceramic, and I'll paint on them and paint the little sign on there, and then I decorate with them. And for me, it makes me really happy. I don't know.
Do you have like so here's what I envision, that you have a really, because you're in Texas. I always put you into California for some reason, but we always laugh about it.
For years and years, yeah.
It's like every time Sandra and I want to talk, I'm like, you're 3 hours behind me. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm in Texas. It's only an hour. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
So,
but I've been here a few years now, but I that's where I lived mostly.
So I imagine you have a really cool garden, and I see like I don't know. I have this vision of like really cool things in your garden, like those rocks. And is that true? Like, do you
Yes, I
decorate?
have. I used to go surfing in this place in California. Well, it's actually way down in Baja,
Mm-hmm.
and it was called K39. I think that's what it's K38, K39, something like that. But it was the kilometer and where it was, and it was right on these cliffs, and there were all these beautiful blue rocks, and they're smooth like eggs. Have you ever seen those?
No.
There are just thousands and thousands of them. It's because they get tumbled. They're blue and grays, and they get tumbled on those cliffs. And there's just thousands and thousands of them, all different sizes, and you can buy them here. I saw them at one of the landscaping places, and so we bought a bunch of them and put them outside, and they look so pretty. They look like they call them moon rocks because they're just all smooth and round and
Cool.
fabulous. I wish I had one to just show you, but yeah. And then we have some big statues that I purchased a long time ago, like life-size statues of like satyrs and things like that, like kind of whimsical.
Cool.
The little goat person. What is the little kid with the goat feet? I forget what that one is, but I have
Yeah.
a fawn, right? It's a fawn.
Yeah, it's a fawn. Yeah.
He's a half little boy and half.
Yes.
Well, we
Yeah.
have one of those, and he's sitting on He's sitting on a column, and in between the trees, the crepe myrtle trees, and the birds come and sit on him. And
Oh, that's so cool. I bet your garden is really, really cool. You have to show it sometime.
sometime, yeah, I will.
Yeah. So, what's the biggest piece that you have made for your home, like furniture or whatever?
A big painting that I just did. It's like, I don't know. Are those glass doors behind you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about that size.
Oh
And
wow.
made it for the entryway. And you know that paint, that Verde paint, the Verde paint that you could spray it on and it makes like rust or
Oh yeah,
copper.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, yeah, we have some. We sell it on our website, but
Yeah.
it's that paint. And so I painted the whole piece of wood with the rust,
Yeah.
and then I painted these Aboriginal people, natives that are on it, and they kind of look like space people. I'll have to put a post up
Yeah.
of it. I usually don't show the personal things that I
Yeah.
make in my house. I don't know why. I just don't. But anyways, they kind of look like space people, and it's on this great big thing, and it looks like on the cave wall because the rust makes it look,
Oh,
real
cool.
authentic.
Yeah.
And so when you open our front door, there's these two kind of spaceman looking things on that rust verde paint.
That is so good. I think it is so much fun to do things for your home, like to incorporate, things that have meaning to you,
Yeah.
and just like experiment with it and change things. Do you change a lot of things in your
Pretty
home?
often. I mean, yeah, this whole room is different from last year. And
Yes.
I had it for a long time the other way, but I kind of just felt like I needed to breathe and get
Yeah.
everything out. And I took everything out, every last thing, and just rearranged and sold some stuff and bought some new stuff and just redid. So
I do
it's
that quite often too. I think it's like there's something about like, yeah, as you said, like you need something different, and it's like I don't know. There's a very freeing
yeah.
thing around it when you're like rearrange thing and you redecorate thing and you make old things new. There's
Right,
something
right.
really
Just by
freeing.
putting them in a different place and with different other objects, the same objects
Right.
but in a different place. Yeah, and put them together, and it just brings a whole different vibe.
Right, I think so too. Yeah, I remember last year it looked very different from what it looks now. That's so cool. So Sandra, as we have all those cute guys here, so are they sometimes involved? I'm asking because we have this little kitten right now, Bobby Pretzel. And
Yeah.
he's like literally in everything. I had to put him in the bedroom right now because he would be like jumping up and down here like crazy.
Yeah.
He drinks my paint water. He thinks
Oh
like
my
every
God.
paint tube is like his. So do your animals, pets get ever involved in your art making process in a good or a bad way?
As a matter of fact, she's mostly she has a really large cage, big, like almost the size of this room. And I try to keep her in there, but I have her out too a lot of the time and trying to teach her and stuff. And she's got under her wing, I don't think she's going to let me know. She's not going to let me show you. But I was painting this red heart that I just finished. Really deep beet color red. And she flew down on my shoulder and got it all on. It looked like blood. Got it all on her wings, and I'm trying to rinse it out and rinse it off of her and get it off of her. And she always says whenever she's not sure what we're doing, if we're doing something to her, like trimming her nails, she'll say, "I love you, but I love you." So we don't. Because that's how she's telling us, "Don't hurt me, because I love you."
Oh.
So I'm rinsing her off, trying to get the red paint off, and she's saying, "I love you, but I love you."
Oh.
It was so funny, and now it's all pink and coral under there because I couldn't get it all off, but it looks pretty, actually. It's only on one side. You little stinker, huh? You got paint all over you? So, yes, she definitely, I don't know, yeah.
I get, did you ever have something that they did to your artwork that you left in there, like an imprint?
Yeah, I had a cat a long time ago. His name was Romeo, and he was a rescue. We found him in the engine of our car, and he was little, and he got into everything too, and he stepped into my paint that I was painting, kind of an abstract, fortunately, and then I pulled him off of it, and his claws made this big mark on there, and then it became his painting. Then I was just like, forget it, and I put more paint on there, and I just let him walk all over it.
Oh, that's so funny.
And he made the painting, and I had paint all over the kitchen floor, but he made the painting, and then I just put the painting up and I wrote Romeo on it.
Oh, that's
and
so fun.
So that was the cat painting. And then I had to make a couple of other ones because I really liked it, and I put it all together in a group because I really liked it. It was a post I did a long time ago.
That is such a great idea. I was thinking about that because I went to a Robert Rauschenberg exhibition. I think it was last year at MoMA. It was amazing, but there was one piece, a collage, where there were like little paws on there, and it said that he had, I forgot what animal it was. I think he had like a kind of like a pet monkey or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he walked through the paint too, and then he was like, "That's cool. It's gonna stay that way."
Right.
It belongs to it.
Wow. Okay.
So I think that is actually cool that how you described it, and that's like, I know some people have children too, but it's like we are always so uptight with our work sometimes, some of us, and they think like, it's ruined if something like that happens. But I think it's part then of whether your kid did something or your pet or something else happened to it. It's part of that work, and what a great story. That's the story, right?
And I still have the paintings, and he's long gone, but I still have his paintings, and every time I look at him, I smile because it reminds me when he was getting into when he was a kitten and he was getting into everything, just like your little pretzel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pretzel had for a while some blue paint on his head because he brushed on a brush, and also a blue paw, although he licked that off very fast. You
need to throw some plastic sheeting down, put a canvas on, put the paint, and just let him go.
He's just going to roll in it.
And then clean him up, because that's the hard part. I had to clean up my kitchen floor. There was probably, when I moved away, there was still paint on there. But
that's funny.
Yeah.
What is the one thing about your home that, we all have, like, we're private, but what's the one thing about your home that you think that our viewers would be surprised to know? Whether decoration or, something in that area?
That half of my dining room, actually not half of my my whole dining room is taken up by a giant cage that I can fit in, that I can sleep in, actually. That she belongs to her. There used to be a dining room and table and chairs. Now if somebody comes, we eat on our coffee table. We sit and eat on our coffee table on the floor every night and watch TV. We used to have a really nice dining room table, this antique table I bought, and I bought all these beautiful French Restoration hardware chairs, and it looked so good. And then we got her and all that went up into the attic, and this just giant cage in there that I built. So see the tree that you can buy these pieces of wood.
Yeah.
And so I bought a whole bunch of them, and I used the epoxy sculpt, and I epoxied them all together. And on top of her tree, David calls it her war wagon. It looks like a circus wagon, but it does look like a war wagon, because on top it's got all these trees up there, and she can jump and climb, and it's got toys hanging from it, and it's got these wooden ladders that go up and over and down. And I'll have to photograph that and put a post up of it. It does look like a war wagon, but she loves it. She just
I
plays
think that
it
is
there.
so cool that you did it yourself too, because to be quite honest, I was thinking about that, that I really dislike most of the, let's say, cat trees, or they're so ugly. I mean,
and
like,
gaudy, and
oh my God. And I'm like, why is that, you know, like, it's almost like if you have a cat, you have bad taste. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's how it kind of like.
And the parrot stuff, same thing. All this weird, I don't know, just strange things. And they have these plastic PVC trees, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Go in here because I want it. It's permanent. I want it to look good too. So we got this big tree for her, and it actually only had these top limbs. And you see this one and this one and this one and this one were all perches, and they had screws in the back of them. And we undid them, and we screwed them into there. My husband did, and then I covered it all with epoxy sculpt.
Yeah.
All of that. I covered it all and made the mark so that it looks like the tree, so it all blends in, so she could go from down and around and play on it. And that's exactly how I did the top of her thing. So it's like a big tree, like a rainforest in there with no leaves, but it's a big tree up there that she plays in. And
that is so cool.
And she can fly from our armoire in the living room to the dining room in one big swoop.
Right. Maybe that's a new class. We should do pet furniture art or something like that.
I know, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I had a great time doing it. You know, that's the thing too with me, and you were talking about how all my work is different. You know, I do all kinds of different things. It's because I don't just like one thing. It's like I want to make whatever I need at the time, or whatever I see that I like. And if I need some jewelry to wear to something, I'll make the jewelry. But if I need something to fix up, you know, in here, then I had a great time doing that. You know, just making it, and it's calming, and it's something totally different. And
you use a lot of I mean, you use all kinds of stuff, but you also use like tools that some people might be like, I don't know if I want to use that. But do you have a bigger toolbox with tools than your husband has actually?
No, I steal all his tools, and he's always like, I didn't give you that. And I'm like, but I need it, and I don't know how to use them. I use them for whatever. Like I'll use a screwdriver to sculpt. Or, you know, something like, I'm not a trained artist, so I don't know what I'm doing. Almost all the time, I don't know what I'm doing, and I just try to figure out how this has to work. That's all. It's like my brain is just figuring out how this has to work. It's always a challenge, whatever it is I'm working on. And yeah, I have all kinds of tools, but they're never the right tools for that right thing. You know, and I'll use whatever works for me, and I'll buy different things that, you know, Home Depot that are certainly not meant for what I'm using them for. And David's like, what are you doing with that? I'm like, I don't know, but it's working. You know, it works. And so I just use what works. And I have probably strange tools, some sterling silver spoons that have just the right little curve that I can make a little scoop with, you know, a little area, and just things like that. Just kind of strange things that I toothpicks and chopsticks and, you know.
Does Dave ever get involved where you're like, I want to do this and this, but I'm not really sure how to do that, and then he pitches in?
Oh, he does help me a lot. Yeah, he'll help me with certain things. A lot of things like technical things like figuring out, or big tools. I can't really use saws and things like that, and, you know, big saws, and I need that sometimes for the stuff. I have to cut. David, can you cut the head off this bird, this eagle, or big, you know, I'm working on this big statue right now, and I don't need the rest of the parts. I just want the wings and the head. And so I'm like, can you cut this stuff off? And, you know, it's like, oh, yeah, okay. And before, when we first met, he was just like, what do you want me to do? And now he just goes and does it because, you know, it's normal.
That is so cool. I love that. My husband is unfortunately not very handy. Sorry, Jim. But he gets involved too.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I can't, we also don't have like a real shed or something where you can, we don't have the
Right,
space.
we don't either. We have the
Yeah.
garage. Our house is little. We
Yeah.
live in a little, it's a little house. It's just right for us, but it's a little house. And I work in here, I work in the kitchen, and I work in the garage.
Do you sometimes work outside?
I don't that much because in Texas, it's either freaking really hot or it's cold. And right in the middle time, sometimes I'll go out, but I'll hang out outside with the dogs and stuff, but I don't really work out there. I should, though, with the wood burning thing especially, because I have to be careful with stuff around her.
Yeah.
Like I don't have resin in the house and, all of that kind of thing. And I changed all my cleaning stuff. I don't use any of those sprays anymore, just alcohol and peroxide.
Yeah.
And that's just so cheap. It's amazing. You can get it really inexpensive, and it comes in spray bottles, and it cleans better than the expensive smelly stuff.
Right, exactly. We use a lot of white vinegar too, and
exactly.
It's a lot.
And baking soda.
It's interesting, like especially when you have kids or pets, like how much you have to be careful, and with art supplies too. I think that's something that, especially when we are not trained, that we kind of forget sometimes that, it's not good to push everything into your skin.
Even for us, because some of the things, it's like, wear a face mask, and I'm just like pouring
exactly.
and fumes going everywhere. So I do all that in the garage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a different thing when you decide that for yourself, but if you decide it for someone else, that's a different thing.
Yeah, no, I'm so careful with them.
Yeah.
They're little children, so
yeah, exactly.
I'm probably more careful with them than a lot of people are with their kids, I think.
That's true. So that was super fun to talk with you again, and as I said, I cannot wait, guys, for you to see her video. It's so cool. As I said, I went up and I did it, and I can't even share it with you now because, I have to wait until her video is out, what I did based on that.
It's fun. I had fun doing it. I hadn't done it in a long, long time, since I was a little kid.
It's fun.
I had really fun doing it again. And I'm working on more pieces now because I was just like, that was awesome.
So I hope this entices you to sign up for Creative Jumpstart. Use Sandra's link, please, and sign up through Creative Jumpstart. Also, Sandra, is there anything that's coming up in the next couple of weeks that you want to and can talk about, that you want to let our viewers know? Something new, upcoming products, classes that you can tell already?
Well, no, I have a couple more releases. I just released the big Gabriel Angel, and then the Angelic kit that goes with that. And then I have a couple more releases. Actually, by the time this is out, I can show you if you want a meerschaum kit. The Gabriel is already out, and then I'm doing this meerschaum kit that's like a bezel, sort of like a bezel, I guess, but really it's more like a reliquary, a locket, and it's got little different pieces that go into it. It has 3 different pieces that you can create. Yeah, the meerschaums that they would make pipes and stuff out of, and that's what this is taken after. It was molded after an antique meerschaum that I have, and then I wanted them to be able to switch out parts and put different pieces in there. So that'll be released. So and this is the Gabriel. It's quite a big angel. Wow. Yeah, and it's got wings that go with it in another kit, and a halo and a crown that goes on it too. And so all the pieces, with all my pieces, you can mix and match them. It's like a modular system that all the pieces go together in a certain way. So you can always should check out Sandra's website if you haven't yet. And SandraEvertson.com.
Say again?
SandraEvertson.com.
Yes, and
Alliance Relics and Artifacts.
It's really cool because she makes also the amazing stuff that she makes, and also her team. They do assemblage with it.
Oh,
they do jewelry with
best
it.
Team in the world. I love them.
And so it's really cool, and it's also, I love it so much because it's different from a lot of things that maybe some of us do all the time. Like so it's a good way to do something that's different and gets you out of your box and do something exciting, and also for your home. So check it out. Thank you so much.
Thank
it was
you,
so good to have you again.
Talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.